Twins Emma and Elle's chilling news interview about their mother's carjacking rescue on Steve Irwin Way became a living nightmare under Phil Moore's blood-red on-air glow during his follow-up broadcast on 7 News Queensland, April 21st, 2025. Phil sat alone in his abandoned 1980s press room, the CRT monitor flickering with static that sounded like distant whispers. His pen hovered above the typewriter, each keystroke destined to become reality at 3:17 a.m., when he would write their fate into existence. Tonight's final edition. He announced, voice calm yet taut with dread. He recited Clara Carter's bravery, how she faced armed suspect Marcus Thrall and lured him away, sending him fleeing into the woods without harm, according to the Queensland Police Report, 2025. The words felt hollow in the stale air, as if rehearsing history could change the ending. Behind him, the bulletin board held pinned photographs of Emma and Ella, printed from his own report. Their mirrored faces stared at him, accusing in the dim light. Phil swallowed hard, recalling his own daughter's laughter, lost 8 years ago in a house fire he'd failed to prevent, as documented in the Ashcroft Incident Report 2014. His guilt had first awakened his headline-synesthesia, the ability to see printed words twist into horrific prophecy. He flipped the page, revealing the next line. 5 marked survivors must assemble at the old school. The feed on the monitor glowed green, then revealed a live view of the deserted Ashcroft Elementary ruins. An image he had never filmed, but now watched unfold exactly as typed. A hallway door creaked open by itself, and in the darkness a shape emerged. Featureless, tall, coat trailing like a shadow. Phil's breath caught. They will become the sacrifice. He tried to stop, but his fingers moved of their own volition. The keys clattered as he typed the final words. And the final keystroke seals the pact. Outside, the press room's shutters rattled as if in answer, matching his racing heartbeat. The studio lights flickered. His reflection on the monitor lagged 3 seconds behind him, mouthing words he hadn't yet spoken. Each lagged syllable widened the gap between his will and destiny. He reached to adjust the lens, but the camera feed jerked and revealed a second shot. The faces of the twins standing motionless behind him, eyes unblinking. A distant engine roar rattled the shutters, identical to the stolen SUV's crash that had doomed Clara Carter to relive her terror. Phil's pulse thundered in his ears as the roar swelled, then cut off abruptly, leaving an echoing silence. We honor her courage tonight, knowing each syllable anchored the horror in place. Something in the darkness shifted, the walls groaned as if breathing. Phil's studio chair spun on its own axis, coming to rest facing the door. Forgive me. His chest tightened. He dared not turn to see what entered. He closed his eyes and whispered before peering into the gloom. The overhead red bulb snapped off, plunging him into blackness speckled by the monitor's sickly green glow. From every shadowed corner came a chorus of static whispers. Type it or die. Phil's throat constricted. He tried to read the next prompt, but the teleprompter flashed only one line. Your story concludes tonight. He felt a weight around his ankles, as though unseen hands had anchored him. Panic surged. He tapped the desk, sending pens clattering. The typewriter beneath his fingers rattled to life, each type bar striking the paper with a metallic ring. He watched as the final sentence formed in his handwriting. Phil Moore becomes the story. Lightning lanced through the boarded-up window, illuminating the dust motes in the air like restless spirits. In that instant, Phil glimpsed the twins' faces on the monitor transform, tears streaming, mouths opening in silent screams. He stabbed at the carriage return and slammed the paper into place. An ear-splitting crack split the room. The world tilted. Phil staggered back, eyes wild, as the door burst open and the shape from the monitor stepped across the threshold. It wore his silhouette, hair greying at the temples, coattails fluttering, but its face was blank, featureless, a void he could not comprehend. The creature raised a hand and pointed at the typewriter. Phil understood too late. Each word he had typed had been a binding vow, a contract written in ink and blood. The final paragraph glowed silver on the page, and thus the author is claimed. The last light in the press room died. Silence swallowed him. Then came a single crystalline note, a child's laughter, soft and distant, echoing from the darkness. Phil's eyes fluttered shut as a cold breath brushed his neck and whispered, "We will always be watching." When he opened his eyes again, the press room was empty. The typewriter sat on the desk, the page missing as though consumed by the void. The on-air light remained off, but a small red dot pulsed on the monitor recording. In the silence, the press room phantom had vanished, leaving only the haunting promise that tomorrow's headlines would write themselves. Subscribe if you dare.